When she kisses him, he remembers. It's as if his past lives come flooding back to him, much like when we remember who we are by knowing all is love. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of TrueLove Talks, one in a series of videos that is part of Vlogmas, where YouTubers make a video a day on a Christmas theme. When everything is about Christmas in this world, anything is fair game. I'm having a bit of an off day today. My day has been chaotic from the start. I didn't sleep well because Ixie kept me up all night and I had to get up early because my super had to come over, and so I haven't had a lot of sleep. And then I took a nap because I was exhausted, and then I woke up and it was dark, so I'm all over the place. Now I've been sitting here for several hours trying to get out an audio video for you, and every subject that I talk about is just not working. So I gotta get something out, and I've tried different subjects, I've tried different topics, and then I got this issue that my throat keeps clogging up, so I have to cough, and so it's a whole thing. So having said that, let's see where we can go with this, because I need to get something out, and it's not as easy as it looks. It's not easy to put out a video every day. Today I'm going to talk about reading between the lines, seeing past the veil using the television. Back in the olden days, when I was in the conspiracy mind, I would hit upon an earth-shattering revelation that would practically break me. It would feel agonizing, and yet that trauma ends up becoming something that truthers get addicted to. We get a rush from it and end up chasing the next breakthrough, like chasing a high. Back then, these breakthroughs would be painful, but now I'm at a different level, and my breakthroughs are still painful, but in a different way. It's not a destructive pain, it's like the pain of remembering. I will discover something that hits me to the core emotionally before I can even recognize why or what it's telling me. I think once I discovered the Johnny Depp stuff, that's what I call it. But once I discovered that your life is reflected in the movies, that was a huge shift for me. There was a huge revelation. There are things that I've come to see that have really shaken things up for me. It's like it's opened up a whole new world, or a whole new way to see the world. This part of my journey started in mid-2021. Somebody in my Discord group introduced me to I Am Truthor's channel, and the way that he watched the television and saw things in the television really struck me, and so I became obsessed with his channel. I watched everything in a couple of days, and I knew that there was something more to see here. So I kept watching. So I started doing my own experiments and seeing things a different way, and perhaps not in a way that I Am Truthor would agree with. But due to looking at things in a different way and seeing things with my perspective, I started to see that the TV was talking to me, and not in a frightening way, but in a beneficial way. And much like the license plates communicating with me, and other things that were called into my experience to communicate with me, as I have explained in my other videos, this was another means of communication that the universe had to play with to reach me, to communicate with me. So it opened up a whole new world. There's a lot of movies and TV shows that actually refer to this phenomenon, and will directly refer to it to say, hey, this actually happens in reality. If you say that to certain people, they will think that you have schizophrenia, which is really unfortunate, because I think I've explained this before, that schizophrenia is very similar to seeing through the veil. However, there's a fear element, and there's a stuck element. A lack of understanding of what they're seeing leads to fear. I know I don't have schizophrenia. So there have been times where I'm just watching television, and the television will say things to me. There's a YouTuber I watch, and I'm usually in the room watching this YouTuber, but this time I left the room, and I heard from the other room, this YouTuber say, hey, hello. Literally, this person was calling out to me, and I thought, oh, here we go. This particular YouTuber doesn't usually talk to me, not like the other YouTuber. I know this sounds totally absurd. If you're new to my channel and you're listening to this, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, and you will probably think that I'm nuts. But I assure you, this is a real thing. So then there's that other YouTuber, the Chateau Diaries, that tends to leave me clues or speak directly to me or pick up on things that need to be communicated to me that I'm convinced is a Matrix-generated show. That one talks to me. It's happened several times already. Aside from the TV Watching You series, which is really what kind of pointed me in this direction to get me to see more inside of the content of the television. And it's really just a form of divination. One of the times that I felt that the television was speaking directly to me was when I was watching that television series, Dispatches from Elsewhere. And the guy who saw through the illusion pointed basically at the television, pointed at me. And they were looking into the TV screen saying, "There she is," which was really kind of shocking and disturbing. And when it first happens, you're kind of doubtful. You kind of wonder, like, did I really see what I thought I saw? And if you're experiencing this, then the answer is yes. You really did see what you think you saw. It's healthy to question it. So another time I had taken some edible cannabis because a friend of mine thought it would help me with my eczema issues. And it was the first time I'd ever taken it, so I didn't know how much to take, and I'd taken too much. I don't like the feeling. It kind of gives me a queasy feeling. It's like being on a roller coaster. So I just was lying down watching television because I couldn't handle it. And the television started to talk to me. I could hear the codes pretty clearly. And, it's kind of tempting sometimes to take some just so that I could hear the codes. But really, I don't need it to hear the codes. It's just an interesting experience to have the veil disappear. So the characters were talking about cards, and they dealt a deck of cards. It was a very weird conversation. And the way they dealt the cards on the table, it was directed at the television, so it was directed at me. I looked at the cards they had dealt, and then I looked at what they mean, and there was some kind of message in it. I can't remember what it was. It was some time ago. But it was so obvious that they were talking about me. So it was so freaky. But it wasn't anything significant, It was just your typical TV Watching You kind of conversation where they're talking about the viewer. The next time I remember feeling that the television was talking to me, somebody in the television was talking to me, was the Johnny Depp trial. The way they were talking, it was like coded language that I would understand. And anybody who understands the codes like I do would also understand. So it's like he was specifically addressing those people. So that's when I started to pay attention to what he was saying and what codes were in his story. And that led me to discovering that he was revealing his story through the trial and how it was directly connected to his movies. And there's an interview I watched with him talking about his own career and everything. And there was a moment where he said something in that dialogue where he said that he was mad, as in crazy. And he paused on that word and then moved forward with the rest of his sentence. But because he paused on that word, the way that he paused on that word indicated to me that he knows who he is. You're probably wondering how I could know this when none of this is supported by hard evidence. All I have to go by is a feeling. The feeling is the evidence. We need to get in tune with this feeling because this is the other side talking to us. The other side is frequency. Frequency is our natural language, but here in the physical realm, we need to translate frequency into language. If you've ever had downloads from meditation, you know that it comes to you first in the form of a frequency, which you then interpret into words. If you can't find the words, the frequency translates automatically into emotion. Emotion's also a frequency. Our bodies are instruments, and we tune our instruments in harmony with the universe using meditation, through getting in touch with or in tune with our bodies. The 7 chakras are energy points in the body that read these frequencies and interpret them in the form of emotion. This is why when somebody hurts us, we feel it first, and then we'll take some time to process our emotions into words so we can understand how we feel. But none of this is visible, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or negate its validity. Unfortunately, many people are out of tune. When we are in tune, we trust our intuition. We are better able to read the code, and the code is the truth. Okay, so when I was a child, I think it was about grade 1, so that would make me about 6 or 7 years old, my teacher left on my report card a note saying that I read between the lines. And at the time, I had no idea what she was talking about. Now I know what she was talking about. This ability to read between the lines is a skill, and a very valuable one. It allows me to see what's not said. It allows me to understand what's implied. It allows me to put pieces together and see the true story or the coded story that most people don't see, because it's not written anywhere. This is how I know what is true, because I read the code. I don't rely on books. I don't rely on people. I don't rely on anything other than the code. Don't get me wrong, I read books and I use reference materials, but I know how to look at that material and see what's written underneath or read between the lines. And the only way that I see the code is because I go within. It's a direct connection to that line in Free Guy when Keyes said that words will let you down, that the code won't let you down. And he was referring to the zeros and ones, binary, and computer code. And the reason code won't let you down is because you can't change the code. You can change the words because words have multiple meanings, but you can't change the code. So when I decode what's being said, it's revealing the code underneath all of the words, all of the dressing that's been put on it to sort of mask it for the people who aren't meant to see the code. The only reason I'm able to see this connection with Johnny Depp and the others is because I'm more concerned with what is hidden. I focus on what is not being said with words, but what is being shown or said under the words. So when the system puts out a psyop, an event, or a character that gets a lot of attention, I ask why. What do they really want us to see? And knowing that everything is connected to the zodiac, which is the underlying code to everything, it gets easier to recognize the real message. But how I sense when an actor like Johnny Depp is hinting at something or speaking directly to me, that comes from intuition. I get a tingle of recognition. I feel like a wink or a nod or even a glance from what's behind the screen. It's not the actual screen itself most of the time. It's kind of like in the film Interstellar. I'm seeing the hand of my loved ones reach into the veil using whatever they can to communicate with me. Someone sitting next to me who isn't in tune may not see it or feel it because it's more like an inside joke or a shared private moment between friends that only the two of you know. So when I experience this, I feel closer to home. In everything that is in existence, there's the underlying code. And the code is the truth. So a lot of people will say we can't ever know the truth. If you can't ever know the truth, it doesn't exist. There is no truth. But there is truth. And the truth is revealed in the code. Everything roots back to IXXI. Everything roots back to 9/11. If it doesn't root back to 9/11 IXXI, then it's not true. And I went against what a lot of the truthers tell you to do. A lot of truthers will tell you not to watch TV. A lot of truthers will tell you not to watch the news. A lot of truthers will tell you not to pay attention to the external, only look within. All of that is wrong. I think that it is important to understand why we're here and what this place is. Because we're here for a reason, obviously. We're not here by some accident. So to dismiss the existence of it, to dismiss the purpose of it is a mistake. And in discovering that everything is IXXI, everything is 911, everything is about returning to Christ consciousness, that's a significant discovery that cannot be overlooked. It's everything here is about your awakening. So why would you ignore that? Why would you choose to completely overlook the physical and say it doesn't matter because it doesn't exist, it's not real? Yes, it's an illusion, but it is real. We are here. We are experiencing it. I mean, it's kind of like going to the movies and saying that the movie never happened because it's not real. You're not in it. No, you're not in it. You're watching it. But it is real. It did happen. You did watch it. You did experience it. And when you came out of the movie theater, if it was a good movie, you learned something about yourself or about humanity. So you have changed because of it. But you can't completely negate the existence of the movie because it isn't a physical thing that you aren't in it, and you can't keep it and you can't take it home with you. Such is life. Life is a movie that we happen to be in. It's physical, but it's not as physical as we think it is. So I think it's a mistake to not study the physical. I think it's a mistake to dismiss it and to discard it and to say, Only look within. Because if the external is a reflection of what's within, you have a lot to learn from the external, don't you? So yeah, a lot of people said, don't watch television, don't watch the news, everything's satanic. And so a lot of people, they shut off the television and everything, and that's fine. You can still learn what I'm talking about through other means. You're not going to escape what people refer to as the matrix by shutting off your television, because it's in society, it's in all your books. It's in everything. If you're playing video games, it's in video games. It's everywhere. It's everywhere because it is the fabric of our reality, because 911 emergency is everything. So if you can't escape it by not watching television, you might as well watch television, but watch it the right way. Understand what it is you're looking at. Understand how to read the code. Learn what it's telling you. Listen. Be in tune with it so that when it talks to you, that you hear it. You pay attention to it. And if you're one of these people who thinks that that's nuts, and, that's fair, but I'm telling you, it's not nuts. It's real. It's true. So you won't experience it, though, because you're of the opinion that that's nuts. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for listening. Hope you're having a great day. Tune in tomorrow for another episode. I will do my best to get it out earlier. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.